Hey, this is Jim Jupiter.
And this is Quinn Jupiter.
And we're the Jupiter Boys, and you're listening to Moviesaurus Rex, the podcast with Tom and Hooch.
Hooch is crazy.
At a creature effects workshop in Hollywood, California, something has escaped. This animatronic abomination is a danger to anyone in its path. The only way to stop it wreaking havoc in the city? To distract it with movie news, discussion, and reviews. Moviesaurus Rex!
It's going to happen. Are we on?
We're on.
I feel like every episode's got to start with me asking whether we're on or not. And it's genuine.
We need like a red light in the corner of the room.
Yeah, we do.
Says we're recording.
This isn't a fake light, are we on? Like, this isn't
It's
like
genuine.
This isn't a fourth wall breaking pun. This is genuinely me asking Tom whether he's pressed record or not.
They're making sure we can actually see that there's wavelengths. But there is.
There is, Tom.
There is.
All right, I don't want to repeat of a few episodes back where we recorded nothing. That was painful. Okay, you're listening to the Moviesaurus Rex Podcast with your hosts Hooch
And Tom.
Today we're talking about
Jason Bourne.
that's awkward. We're talking about the Daniel Craig Bond films. Fuck everything before.
Yeah.
One does not dwell on the past. We are focusing on the current James Bond, Daniel Craig.
But not just Spectre.
Not just Spectre. We are talking about Spectre. We just watched it a few hours ago, and we're going to talk about Quantum of Solace. No, sorry. Let's go in order.
Yeah.
Casino Royale, Quantum of Solace, Skyfall, Spectre. You're going to get all four for nothing. It's free, people.
You have to pay to see the films, though.
Yeah.
Obviously.
Well, we'd hope you pay to see the films
Yeah.
anyway. We do not condone piracy or streaming or any illegal activity. These people work very hard on making these films. Give them fucking money, yeah? You're getting something out of it. And if you, incidentally, if you want to give us money, you can go to our Patreon account.
Here he goes.
I'm a whore, Tom. You can buy our merch on redbubble.com, MRexPodcast. Search that on Redbubble. And you can support us through any means. Just give us your money. Okay, with that out of the way, let's get into the 007 James Bondy podcast episode. So,
We start with Casino, are we?
yeah, we'll go in order.
Cool.
Because we'll leave them hanging, Tom.
Yeah.
We want them to stick around for the Spectre part of it, okay? So, Casino Royale, 2006, almost 10 years ago.
Fuck.
That is mad.
I can see why Daniel Craig don't want to do it no more.
I suppose it's
It's a long
tiring.
time. Yeah.
It must be tiring.
Physically. He's been like damaged, hasn't
He has been damaged.
Mm.
Did you watch him on Graham Norton the other night?
he? No, I missed it, but my mum watched it.
He talked about all his injuries.
Mm.
Got a dodgy knee. Directed by Martin Campbell, who also directed GoldenEye, with a budget of $150 million and a worldwide gross of just shy of $600 million.
It's pretty good, isn't it?
That is very good, considering it was the reboot,
Yeah.
so to speak.
Yeah.
Is it a reboot? I feel like it is.
It is kind of like a reset sort of button, isn't it? That's been pressed.
Even though it's like technically Bond 20-something,
Yeah.
and it is very separate.
Well, Casino Royale was the first story he wrote, wasn't it?
Yes.
That never actually made
Yeah.
it to the original films.
Not the
Like
the official James, but they have made a Casino Royale
Yeah,
film,
yeah, yeah.
but that was like Woody Allen,
yeah.
jokey sort of, yeah. But this is a sort of first one, isn't
Yeah.
it? This is a redo. This is the origin.
Well, it shows
story.
him getting his 00 status and
Yeah.
all that stuff, doesn't it?
I say this is the origin story. It feels like having just watched Spectre. Spoilers for everything, by the way. We're going to spoil everything. We're not holding back. If you don't see Spectre, go see it. The whole series has felt like an origin story.
Yeah. Because, well, they're all linked now, which became
They're-
more apparent with Spectre, definitely.
Yeah, they're all linked, and they all call back to his childhood, and well, the last two call back to his childhood, and it just sort of continually fills in the blanks of who is James Bond, where did he come from?
Which is weird, because every other James Bond film is not really a sequel, but these are... Well, I mean, Quantum is
Yeah, these
pretty
are,
much straight after, isn't it?
Yeah, like
Casino.
an hour later, or if
Yeah.
not, even less than that, literally minutes later.
Yeah.
Did you ever play the video game for Quantum?
No.
It's good because it was Casino Royale levels.
Okay.
He did a flashback.
Cool.
And he was like, "Oh, remember when?" or whatever. And then suddenly you're like chasing the guy doing the free running business. And then it goes through literally every beat of Casino Royale, and then comes back to Quantum
And that's when you
Quantum
turn it off.
Solace, and that's when I turn it off and forget about it. Yeah, Yeah, good little bargain bin game if you can find it. I'm sure it's like £3 or $5 somewhere. Hunt it down. It's decent. It's got a good cover system. Anyway, we're not talking about video games. We're talking about Casino Royale. So, yeah, 2006, 10 years old. Doesn't feel like 10 years ago, does it? I remember like it was yesterday when everyone was going, who the fuck is Daniel Craig thinking he's going to be our James Bond? He hasn't even got black hair. What the fuck is... Bond's ruined to me. Bond is ruined to me. That's what people were saying.
But now, he's everyone's favourite, isn't he?
Yeah, he's my favourite anyway.
Yeah?
I think so. Well, he is my favourite, but I will always compare any Bond from now to Pierce Brosnan because he's the Bond that I grew up with.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah.
I don't have any attachment. Sorry, but I don't have any attachment to Sean Connery, Roger Moore.
Yeah.
Timothy
Dalton. It's not our era, is it?
And what's the other one? What's the Aussie?
George
guy?
Lazenby.
George Lazenby. That's it. I don't have any attachment to all those previous Bonds. I've not even seen all of them.
Yeah.
I've seen a few, but I'm not like.
I've seen most.
I'm not an aficionado.
No.
But yeah, Daniel Craig smashes it.
Yeah.
And as soon as this came out, all the worry that people had were put to rest. All the doubters, all the haters shut up because they realised, oh wait a minute, there's more to Bond than just his hair colour. And this new gritty, grounded, stripped back version of Bond was violent, was just what the series needed after the silly sort of over the top Die Another Day from before.
Yeah, that was crap.
See, like, objectively, it's crap. I know it's not a good film, but I just love watching it because there is so much action. Like, it's non-stop. Whereas, all right, skip to Spectre, there's very little action. But I don't know. I know.
The tone is completely different between them.
Yeah, tonal shift.
Yeah, big time.
Which is what the series needed, but as we go further, in a weird way, the series is getting darker with each film, but it's also getting more silly. Yeah. Does that make sense?
Well, it's losing its Bond sort of.
Yeah, it's
like the feeling of a Bond film. That's what I think, anyway.
I definitely. Like, if you could pinpoint exactly what a Bond film is, like in its essence, in its soul, I feel like arguably Skyfall and Spectre have done away with it. Yeah. And it's just become an action film which happens to have James Bond in it. Yeah. It does tick some boxes, like this is what a James Bond film is. It's got women, it's got guns, it's got cars. But they're sort of aesthetic, whereas I don't feel like it's just not got... It's hard to pinpoint. Yeah, no, I know. When I go see a James Bond film at a cinema, I get a very specific feeling. It feels like I'm watching a James Bond film, even if it's one I've never seen before. It's just something about it. Yeah. This is Bond. The last two, they're gradually sort of getting away from that. Yeah. To the point where today I didn't know what to think, did I? No. I didn't have a reaction as such. I didn't know what to think, and I'm still pondering. But we'll get to that. Well, I'll keep skipping ahead. Anyway, Casino Royale. Fantastic action. Am I right in saying, between me and you, nothing has topped Casino Royale? Yeah, no, it's my favourite one. Come after. Definitely. Yeah. Unbeatable. Yeah. I mean, like you thought initially, it's poker. Like, how's that going to be like cool and? Yeah. But no, it actually worked really well. I think it got me into poker. I didn't understand poker before watching this. No. But and then after you learned, you felt like Daniel Craig. Yeah, exactly. I can't shoot a gun, I can't drive an Aston Martin, but I can fucking play poker now. And they can't take that away from me. Until I lost all my money. I didn't say I could play poker well, but I can play it. Anyway, I keep digressing. Fantastic action. And this film managed to strike a balance between action, the mission at hand, and James Bond's personal life. Yeah. Which all the others, it feels like it's a bit too much for them to juggle. Yeah. It either becomes way too personal and then boring and maudlin, or Quantum of Solace, you don't really give a shit as to what's happening because it isn't personal enough. It is just about the
action,
set pieces and whatnot. I hold it's probably unfair, but I do hold every James Bond film up to this one.
Well, it set the bar though.
Yeah,
and
definitely.
Nothing has sort of reached that yet. So
I had no expectation watching it.
No.
I remember when it came out, and like, girl sitting next to me in maths was like, "Oh, I've just seen the new James Bond," and I didn't give a shit at this point. I was like, "Oh yeah, how is it?" And she's like, "It was really good." And I'm just thinking, "Oh, you're talking shit. You don't know what you don't know what James Bond is. I'll be a judge of what's good or not." I saw it and I was like, just electrified. Yeah. I left the cinema and I was like, I fucking love James Bond again. Like, even though this is technically the first in a new line of Bonds, it was like, it was back. It was a thing again. Like, Die Another Day just sort of, it felt like put an end to it. You know?
Definitely for Pierce Brosnan.
Yeah. I was kind of sad in a way that he didn't get a film to redeem himself.
Because he was quite old at that time, though, wasn't he?
Yeah, he was getting on. But he's not a bad Bond, is he?
No, definitely not.
But to end on Die Another Day, I just feel like, oh, that's a shame. You know, like,
poor Pierce.
Give him another go.
Yeah.
Although apparently, have you seen November Man with Pierce Brosnan in it? Apparently, that is a very sort of almost Bondish film.
Oh, really?
Yeah, so I might check that out. I think it's on Netflix. But anyway, yeah. Where was I?
Casino Royale.
Well, I know that much. Fucking hell.
We haven't spoken about Eva Green yet.
Eva Green. Oh.
Lovely Eva Green. I mean, I'd be as mad if she died.
Even though she betrayed him.
Still. Them titties.
I can't speak to that, Tom. I've not seen him. But anyway.
You haven't seen him? You need to watch Sin City 2. Terrible movie. Only redeemable quality is Eva Green.
Actually, I've seen The Dreamers.
Is that the one where she's with like two dudes?
She gets everything out in that one.
I think I've seen that on some website.
Didn't see it for that, but it was at uni. It was one of those like typical, we're film students, let's watch a film that only film students might watch. So someone put The Dreamers on, we all just sat in the kitchen.
Jerking off.
No, we just, like, everyone got their chairs from their dorms, which is a fucking hassle, by the way. And we all just, some reason, decided to watch it in someone's kitchen. They put a telly in the kitchen and we all just sat
really
around.
sad.
It was sad. It's a shit film.
It must have been the most uncomfortable boner.
She weren't up to much back then. Probably one of the best Bond girls. Like, left the most impact.
Yeah, for the character.
Yeah.
Because she still has an ongoing part in the new ones.
Their relationship has echoes throughout the rest of the films.
When the only other James Bond film that had an impact with a bird was when he actually got married.
He got married,
died, didn't she? She gets shot in a car or some shit.
Which
never went anywhere again because all old films were just sort of singular, weren't they?
Yeah, and now they're no longer relevant.
So, I like the way that the new ones do actually have. They do cross over. They do have a sort of a theme that runs
thread that sort of connects them.
And I wonder if once Daniel Craig's done, if that will carry on.
That would be interesting. We'll talk about that at the end when we talk about our dream Bond scenario. Okay? But you're right. Like, because they don't feel so episodic now.
Yeah.
Like, singular. Like serial sort of thing. They are episodic. I mean, that's what I mean. It's more like chapters in a story rather than another day, another adventure sort of thing. No, you're right. And Vesper Lind, like Eva Green's character, is the if you have to narrow it down to one thing that makes him as cold as he is, it is how he got burned by that relationship. Yeah. Which I suppose is, I mean, it's an origin story, isn't it? And you do need that sort of what made him such a hard bastard angle. In my mind, she's the best Bond girl anyway. I'm not going like by looks or all the rest of it. I'm just going by like the character. Yeah. She was the most fleshed out. Yeah. Like in that one, you was like, oh, okay, I get why he's with her. Yeah. Because they work well together. Yeah. Even like when they first met, they clicked. Whereas in this new one, like, I keep skipping about, but this is going to happen. In this new one, he gets attached to someone, and she's like, I love you. And it's like, you've been together like 2 days. Yeah. Why do you love him? Exactly. And why does he love you? And
he's given her syphilis, and now she loves him.
Maybe he's got some sort of STD that's like a love, like as soon as he sleeps with someone, they like just instantly become infatuated with him.
Maybe.
And you never.
There's actually, while we're talking about this, there's an interesting theory. Well, I don't even know if it's a theory, but you know, he gets his nuts smashed in this one, Casino Royale.
Oh yeah,
And obviously it's an
the
origin
torture
story.
scene, yeah.
The reason why he's got no kids is because his balls don't work from this thing that happens.
Oh,
He gets
okay.
smashed with a rope, doesn't he?
Never thought about that.
Yeah, I think I read it somewhere. Just someone. I don't know if it's just a random YouTube comment, but it's kind of interesting.
That makes sense.
It does make sense, doesn't it?
Such a like. Also, this is the first time you really see Bond go through it. Like most of the time, he'll get in a scuffle or he'll be set up to be tortured, but he gets out of it.
Yeah.
And he's unscathed. In this one, like
It's
straight
actually-
away,
yeah, super brutal.
he's proper tortured,
Yeah.
like mentally and physically,
Mm.
and he's scarred.
Yeah.
And everything that's come after is just an echo
Yeah.
of what happened. I don't think you can watch. I don't think you definitely can't watch Quantum without watching this. But I don't think you can appreciate Skyfall or Spectre without having seen this one,
No, you do need to see him as a whole.
because it just fleshes his character out
Yeah.
completely. Like before this point, James Bond, like there were certain boxes that James Bond was that he had to tick.
Mm.
You know, for him, he had to be suave, he had to be sophisticated, he had to be, witty and all the rest of it. Whereas this one, like, yeah, he fills in some of them, but you don't really see him become Bond until the end of the film,
Yeah.
after having gone through all of these things, like the relationship, and then her dying, being betrayed by her, getting tortured,
Yeah.
having his first kills, his first mission, all the rest of it. This is what colours his
whole career.
personality for the rest of the series.
Mm.
I would never recommend anyone just jump in at Skyfall or
No.
Spectre.
Which you could easily do with the old ones.
Yeah,
Just-
exactly.
Anyone.
Yeah, I agree.
Right.
All right, well, Casino Royale, out of 10.
8.
8. Got to be 10 from me.
Is it 10?
Like, I just never get tired of watching it.
Yeah.
Every time I watch it, I appreciate it a little bit more.
That's the opposite for Quantum.
Yeah. All right, let's get on to Quantum then. It's not got a good rap, has it, from people?
No.
I remember even in the cinema, people being like, "What? Like, this ain't good." Directed by Mark Forster. Let's see what else he's done. I
He
think
did,
World War Z.
that's it,
I know he
yeah.
did that. What did he do before? What warranted him getting this job? Quick look to the IMDb's. Okay. This is really interesting listening right now. Monsters Ball. Finding Neverland. Stranger Than Fiction. Okay, so he's got The Kite Runner. He's got a lot on his CV, but nothing screams he must do the next
Bond,
James
yeah.
Bond, He's just a guy that has done some films that people have seen.
A bit varied as well, isn't there? Not
Yeah,
really.
it's a very strange mix. I suppose maybe they wanted more drama in this because it is
Yeah.
part 2 of Casino Royale, and we're going to
The aftermath.
the aftermath of Vesper dying, which does get played on, but I feel like if you have to warrant why a Quantum exists, I feel like it's the story of him getting over her. He says at the end of Casino Royale, like, the bitch is dead, but he's not really over it.
Yeah.
It's just him putting a front on.
Yeah.
Whereas Quantum of Solace, he gets back into the mission. He goes rogue for a little bit, hooks up with this other bird,
Yeah.
and by the end of the film, you get the sense that he's done his grieving.
Yeah. And
He's
that's-
over it.
Yeah, and it's done.
It's made him stronger by the end of it. So in that respect, I suppose Quantum deserves to exist. I suppose if I would say just like treat it as an epilogue to Casino Royale.
Yeah.
As a film on its own, it doesn't really hold up, I don't think.
It's fine in terms of action. There's some quite good.
There's some good set pieces.
Yeah,
but
the car chase at the start is good, but
see, the way they film it, though, for me, it just feels too like people say Casino Royale was inspired by the Bourne films, but all the action in Casino Royale is so well shot and edited and put together that you always know what's going on.
yeah,
It's so kinetic, like you never feel lost. Whereas Quantum of Solace, they go really Jason Bourne in the sense that it's all shaky cam,
Yeah.
close-ups, quick cuts. You don't really get a sense of what the action is. You just see the beginning of two people standing there. You see a scuffle through a load of quick cuts, and then you see the shot at the end where like one of them's left standing. And
Yeah.
that's pretty much the action for the most part.
yeah.
But the set pieces I really like the
Trying to remember.
situations that
I
they've
mean,
got.
they got the car chase at the start, which is good.
Yeah.
There's
There's a chase through a city on rooftops, I think. I'm sort of going by the video game now. That might just be in the video. No,
there's a boat. Like, he's in a boat and a car as well, isn't it?
that's a bit later on. But at the beginning, there's like a bullfight going on or a chase. Is that like... No, it might be a horse race, actually. I think it's a horse race.
Yeah.
And they're underground
Yeah.
catacombs or whatever you call
Yeah.
them. And he's chasing them, and then it becomes a rooftop thing.
Yeah.
And then there's this great shot where... I think they're in a bell tower or something, and
Yeah,
he
and
grabs him, and
yeah.
they fall. And that shot is like
Down
my
the scaffolding,
favourite shot of the film.
That's actually nice.
They're both falling, like
And it follows
fighting,
them,
and then they crash through the glass. They're on some scaffold, and there's ropes, and
Yeah.
I love that bit. That's really fucking
Yeah.
good. When he he's tied by his foot, and his gun's on the floor,
Yeah.
and he very last second he grabs the gun, flips up, and then shoots the guy
Yeah.
before he gets him.
That's a good Bond moment.
That is a good Bond moment.
The only one, shall we say?
Yeah, probably fair to say.
There's the boat chase.
There is
and
the boat chase.
That's quite cool.
That's good.
I mean, there is a lot more action than Casino Royale.
I don't know.
I think I'm sure there's a lot.
I think a lot of people forget all the action in Casino Royale.
Mm.
So, like, let's have a refresher. In Casino, you got the chase, the
Yeah.
free running chase at the beginning. You've got the scuffle on the airstrip with the bus.
Yeah.
That's really good. I love that.
Yeah.
You got stuff in corridors when he chokes that guy out at the bottom of the stairs.
Oh yeah.
Fighting
Just hides him under the stairs.
Yeah. You got a car chase when he flips the car.
Yeah, that's cool.
They did that for real, by the
No,
way.
they ruined an S9.
Yeah. Why not? You got that much money.
Yeah.
How does it end? What's the final?
So all that shit in.
the
Rome, innit?
building in Venice, is
Venice,
coming
that's it,
down. Yeah, that was good.
Yeah.
I like that. I don't know. I think people maybe like if you compare how many like set pieces there are, maybe they're about the same.
Mm.
But
I mean, Quantum. It seemed a lot. Well, the way I remember it, a lot more action. But
that might be because it's a shorter film.
Oh, okay.
Because it's an hour and 40 odd minutes, whereas Casino's like 2 hours.
Oh, okay.
So they crammed as much action in
a short
smaller
time.
amount of time, so it feels like it's less long-winded.
Mm.
Maybe that's something to say for it.
But the actual bad guys and all that stuff in Quantum was just a bit boring to me.
It's boring.
It's all about oil or some shit, or
It's about water.
Water,
You think it's about oil, and it becomes about the water. But
that's it.
I mean, it's boring now. No, it's boring. It was boring back then, and I remember like thinking when you come out of cinema, you watch a James Bond film, and you think, oh fuck, I've got to wait at least like another 2 years before the next one comes out. Is that all? Is that what I've got to like satisfy my hunger like that? What I've just seen. So yeah, the villains don't really hold up.
Yeah.
If they're forgettable. But now that Spectre's come out, we keep going ahead. But anyway, it does make the villain in Quantum sort of validated because he isn't.
He is part of the overall.
Exactly, he isn't the big bad. He is just like
Player.
a player in the grand scheme of things.
Yeah.
I think the best thing that Spectre's done is it's made everything that's come before it, like everything you disliked, it's sort of covered them up a little bit.
Yeah.
Because it's like, oh, it's okay. You didn't like that villain in Quantum, it's okay because it wasn't really all up to him. He was just like doing the work for someone else. Oh, you didn't like Silver, it's okay because he was just another henchman as well.
Yeah.
Like, I suppose we'll give Spectre credit for that.
Yeah.
But Quantum of Solace, I didn't go into budget. I know people like to know these things. I hope anyway. $200 million budget, and a gross of just over $586 million. So it didn't make as much money as Casino Royale.
And more expensive.
You'd think it would make more because
Off the back of
because
casinos,
Casino people are going in. Like, it's already lost some people because some people have watched Die Another Day and they're like, I don't want to watch Bond anymore, I'm sick of Bond. But then you've got people might be tentative because they're like, oh, I don't like this new Bond and all the rest of it. And still that made more money.
Yeah.
And you'd think all the people that had seen Casino Royale were on board at that point. They were like, this is amazing, I want to see what happens next. But there's obviously been some drop-off between the two films.
Yeah.
It's very strange. I can't think why. How can you watch Casino Royale and not want to see the next one, you know?
Unless you thought Daniel Craig was just a terrible Bond.
Maybe. Possibly.
The consensus is generally pretty good for D. Craig.
Maybe because Casino was so dark, maybe parents thought, I'm not going to take my
That's the
kids to
point.
see James Bond anymore
Yeah.
because it's getting too dark,
Yeah.
too gritty. I think that's probably something for it to say for it. Should we put Quantum to bed?
Yeah.
Okay.
Throw it in the ocean.
Out of 10?
6.
Yeah, I'd give it a 6. I'd say that's fair. That's gone. Now we move on to Skyfall. Wow. We didn't even plan that. That just happened. Because when you read the word Skyfall, the Adele song plays in your head.
Fucking Adele.
But isn't
Is
that,
it-
isn't that testament to how good the song is if you're humming it from the word? I remember first listening to it. I think I heard like a snippet online. It leaked online, and I was like, "Oh, what is this? What is this shit? Why have they got Adele?" And then when the full song came out, I was still a bit like, "Oh, okay, I've got to deal with it. This is our Bond song, whatever." But like, obviously, since then, it's just it's one of those tunes that just sort of grows on you.
Yeah, I think when you see it in the film as well.
Yeah.
Same perspective for me anyway. Once I saw it in the actual film itself, you kind of like it a little bit more.
Yeah. I think they should have got her back to do the Spectre one, but we'll get onto the Spectre song. Don't worry about that. We'll get there. Okay, so Skyfall, directed by Sam Mendes. I don't hate the man, but why give him Bond?
He's a good director.
He's done good.
Skyfall's a good film.
All right. What's he done before that? American Beauty, Road to Perdition, Jarhead. Jarhead's probably what got him it. That's action, isn't it? Or is that more?
Well, not really.
That's
That's
more
quite.
psychological.
Yeah, that's.
Okay. Maybe that because it's psychological themes, which I suppose plays a big part in Skyfall.
Yeah.
Revolutionary Road, Away We Go. Actually, I like Away We Go. I didn't know that was Sam Mendes.
What's the way we go?
It's like one of these sort of indie. It's
Is George Clooney?
no. Jim from The Office. What's his name? John Krasinski.
Yeah.
And Maya Rudolph. They're like a couple, and they go on like a road trip, and it's just like a couple. I liked it at the time. I don't know if it will hold up now watching it, but typical indie fare.
Yeah.
And then Skyfall, Spectre, and he's rumoured to be doing the next James Bond.
Really? I thought it was 2 and done.
We'll see. He was reluctant to even come back for this one.
Yeah, that's what I thought.
But I think that was back when Spectre was going to be Bond. It was going to be in 2 parts, basically, and they was going to film them back to back.
Oh, really?
And I think the prospect of doing 2 Bond films, like being locked down to 2, put him off it.
Yeah.
And I think that might have changed the script. Like, it might have changed what they was going to do with it, because obviously this isn't a 2-part film.
No.
Spectre. I'm talking about Spectre again. We're on fucking Skyfall. Just get out of the way. Yeah. I think because they wanted him, they changed their plan.
Okay.
So that he'd only be committed to 1 more Bond film rather than having to do 2, because it's a long time out of someone's life.
I doubt he'll do another one.
I hope he doesn't. Anyway.
Well, yeah, you hope. I like him. I think he's done.
He's all right. I'm not shitting on him, but I don't see why they matched him with James Bond.
Well, you just don't like the whole arty sort of style. Now, do you?
I like the.
Not art, it's not actually arty, but like.
I mean, they look beautiful. All the films look great, but I think we're agreed in saying the action in these next 2, like Skyfall and Spectre, they're just not.
No.
It's not as kinetic or as good as Casino Royale.
Yeah.
It's shot better than Quantum of Solace, but the action itself isn't as exciting to me. It's just gradually getting a bit more boring.
Yeah.
And I said to you earlier, I think people go see a Bond film for the action.
Yeah, you don't want the story really.
You want some story, but like
a lot of it is
James
just
Bond is action.
Yeah.
It's an action film.
What cars they drive in, what country.
Yeah, exactly.
What are they
nice
doing?
locations, women, cars, gadgets, guns.
Yeah, which
Story is just the device to put all these things together, isn't it? You just want to see James Bond in crazy situations, basically. So Skyfall, Sam Mendes, $200 million budget with a worldwide gross. I think this broke records.
What, for a Bond film or?
I think it was the highest grossing film in the UK.
Well, the hype for this film was pretty fucking high, wasn't it? Yeah.
All right, so worldwide budget of just over $1.1 billion.
You just said worldwide budget.
Sorry, worldwide gross.
1.1 billion.
If it was a $1 billion budget film, we'd be having fucking Iron Man and Captain America showing up in it at some point. No, a gross of just shy of 1.2. No, my maths is terrible. It's just it's just over $1.1 billion worldwide.
That's a lot of fucking money for a Bond film.
That's a lot of money. Well, we'll wait and see how much this next one does. I don't think it'll beat Skyfall.
No.
Money-wise, no, I don't think so. Anyway, Skyfall. I keep going on to Spectre. It's hard not to talk about Spectre because we just watched it. It's still fresh in our heads. Okay, Skyfall. I'll let you lead this one. What are your impressions?
I liked it. I think it was really nice to look at.
Beautiful film.
Yeah.
DOP, cinematographer was
Deakins.
Roger Deakins.
Yeah, boy. But no, actually, overall, I think this is my second favourite one, behind Casino.
Really? Okay.
Yeah. I like the baddie because he had that weird gammy face, didn't he?
I did like that. They
of a cool little sort of Bond trait that you don't really see in the newer ones.
I mean, Le Chiffre has the crying blood thing,
yeah.
but it wasn't as in your face as previous.
This one is a bit more out there in terms of Bond villains, which is cool.
And it is just one scene where you see him with his drop.
The CGI was maybe a little bit dodgy, but I don't know. It looked cool. It was a good idea.
The dragon was bad CG in my mind. You remember is it a Komodo dragon? They go into they fall into a pit.
That's it, yeah.
And there's a dragon, and he uses it to jump up onto a ledge or something, and it eats a guy. I didn't just get real ones, you know. I mean, I know they're poisonous and everything, but you can composite a shot with real Komodos against green screen with the actors, and just do a little bit of manipulation. Don't make the whole fucking creature CGI. Yeah, that's my view on CGI anyway. Sorry, I'm taking away from you. Continue.
It has one of my favourite Daniel Craig Bond moments actually in Skyfall.
What's that?
You know, right at the start, the whole sequence on the train and shit, and
with the crane, with the digger.
Yeah, the digger knocks off the front of the train and he jumps on.
That's very cool.
And he just fixes his little cufflink.
There's nothing like that in the Spectre.
I just think that's a really nice little sort of that's a Bond moment.
Yeah. Well, before that he's riding that bike, isn't he? And he rams it into the wall and it flips, and that's how he gets onto the train. And that opening is very good.
Yeah. It always needs a strong opening with Bond films, and I think Skyfall has a good one.
Yeah. Oh, memorable.
Yeah.
I'd actually say that might be my most memorable scene or action piece in the whole film. Yeah. The beginning.
Because he didn't get shot off the
That's it.
Train,
he gets sniped.
By the new Moneypenny.
By Moneypenny. Yeah. I had a thought and it went. Yeah.
But you didn't really like Skyfall, did you?
I mean, at this point, I was just so into this new line of Bond. And Skyfall to me was just built up so much. I even knew people working on it, and I was just really excited to see this thing. And because they marketed it through the nose, I just felt this could be the thing. This could be obviously it's going to be better than Quantum, but could it be better than Casino Royale? You know, it's the third part in the series so far. They must have found their feet, and they must know they must have locked down the formula on how to make the perfect Bond film by now, surely. And maybe I set myself up for disappointment, but I just feel like I walked out of the cinema, and I like today, and I just didn't really know what to make of it. I wasn't overwhelmed with positive reaction when I first watched it. I've only seen it twice now. Which maybe isn't fair, because I've seen Casino Royale too many times. I've seen 20 times or something. Maybe I need to watch it more to appreciate it, but I just remember sort of just being a little bit underwhelmed. But again, the onus could be on me, because I just went in expecting so much. You got all these great names. You got Daniel Craig. Back then, I thought maybe Sam Mendes was going to be the one to make Bond tip top, you know. You've got Bardem. I thought Javier Bardem's villain was going to become the new, the new thing to beat. It's going to become the new Heath Ledger Joker or something like that. I don't know why I thought that. They didn't really show a great deal of him in the trailers, and I thought there's got to be some sort of really good catch that they're saving for the film, and it just turned out no, his villain wasn't really there wasn't a great deal to him.
He was gay, wasn't he? It was like a little...
It was implied anyway.
Yeah.
He never outright said his orientation, but like he obviously has that scene with Daniel Craig when they're in the chair and he touches his leg and he touches his neck and he's like, "Oh, what does your training tell you to do now, Mr. Bond?" Oh. And he's like, and then Daniel Craig's like, "What makes you think this is my first time?"
That's it.
And he's like, "Ooh, James." Ooh. Yeah. I didn't know what to think of that when I first watched it. I remember people in the cinema being very vocal. There was some guy like a few rows back, and he was like, "What? James Bond ain't gay?" And I was like, "No, he isn't." But I was thinking, did he say that just to like throw him off?
I think so. Yeah, he's playing up to the villain.
Or was he meaning this isn't my first time that I've been like tortured like this? Like, because obviously he got his balls whacked by the rope in Casino. So I don't know what to make of that. You read into that whatever you want.
Yeah, there's nothing wrong with a gay James Bond.
No, there's nothing wrong with it. It did add another dynamic to his character, I suppose, which they soon dropped. But
yeah, no mention of it, Inspector.
I mean, I liked the villain in the sense that he had the thing going on with his face, and and he had a plan. Even though it's been criticised that his plan was overly elaborate and there was no way that it could have actually unfolded the way it did. Like he sort of like planned it down to even the most minute details. You know, it's like overly complicated. But I mean, it's interesting watching it unfold in front of you. We've got a great scene where he's in the underground tube station and he's on the back of the train and he's like, "Open the door." And then there's like some sort of, I don't know, public transport, eh? What a load of bollocks. Some sort of nod there. My biggest criticism is the final act when they're in
the house.
They're in Skyfall in the mansion.
Yeah.
I mean, it's different. We've not seen anything like that in a Bond film because usually it happens in an enemy base, which is like massive. And
multiple sort of locations.
Exactly. It's not like this Home Alone style, let's rig the house and wait it out sort of thing.
Which I kind of liked. I thought it was quite just
it's different flavour. Yeah. But I don't know.
But it's really, to look at though, it's really nice. You know, when the fire is... they go across the water at the end of it. And
it's all dark. And the frozen lake. And
very nice.
M dies.
She does.
I didn't really see it coming.
No. Well... I mean, Judi Dench, she can't read, or she's going blind, isn't she? So she can't.
I think, she
can't
something
read.
Going on with her eyes now.
Is M mother?
M mother?
Is M his mother?
No. I don't.
Because there was a lot of things I was reading that. Oh my god, M is mother.
No, she's like.
She's a mother figure, obviously.
She's the closest thing to a mother that he's got, because obviously his mum and dad died in that climbing accident.
Yeah.
Maybe she's a surrogate, because I suppose they get these agents from a very young age, start training them from a very young age. So maybe she's probably the most consistent part of his life up to that point. Like, she's been around longer than anyone else in his life. So from that standpoint, I would have liked that to have been explored a little bit more, actually. Just sort of really play, like, sort of drive home how much of a impact she has on him, other than being the boss that gets pissed off at him all the time.
Yeah.
But hey ho, I really didn't expect it to end that way.
I think Spectre was missing a bit of Judi Dench.
Yeah, I mean she is in it, but
she definitely has like
through a video recording.
Yeah,
but
kind of misses that sort of presence, I think.
Yeah, that womanly touch. It's a sausage fest, this film, isn't it? Really. I mean, there are women in it, but they're two-dimensional. They don't really have much to do or say. All right, we'll go. Let's go on to Spectre, because we keep fucking talking about it. That is the main reason for this episode, isn't it? Skyfall, out of 10, what would you give it?
I'll give it an 8, I think.
Okay, I'll give it a 2. No, I'm joking. I give it a 7.
Yeah.
So it's one better for me than Quantum, but it's not the 10 out of 10 for Casino.
Spectre. Spoiler alert.
Spectre.
Can we just say it? Can we say it?
Spectre.
Can we say it?
Say what?
Blofeld.
Blofeld. Oh, okay, yeah. All right, so I mean, I love James Bond, but like I said, I've not watched all the old ones.
Yeah.
So I know of Blofeld's existence. I understand that he is a character, and like Dr. Evil from the Austin Powers films is like rip-off of him. But like, this is the worst kept secret for this. Like,
as soon as Christoph Waltz was cast, they were like,
everyone's
"Oh, it's going to be Blofeld. I know it, mate."
Blofeld,
yeah.
definitely. And hey, he is.
Yeah, that's it, folks.
He is Blofeld. He's not bald though, is he?
Not yet.
I was really waiting for him to rip off his hair, like, and he'd just be bald. But I suppose,
well, I think
they've got to distance him from the Dr. Evil thing now, haven't they?
Well, no, I think that he's going to be put in prison now.
Yeah.
Because, spoiler alert, he doesn't die.
No.
And I think, because now he's got his gammy leg, he's got the eye scratch thing.
Did he have a gammy leg in?
I'm sure he's in a
originals?
wheelchair. I'm sure he's in a wheelchair.
All right.
But yeah, then he's got his eye. So I think when you get put in prison, you kind of shave your head, didn't you?
Maybe he gets.
So I think maybe
fleas. Yeah.
Gets rid of it in prison, and that's the start of the Blofeld that we know from the old ones.
Maybe he just falls out from stress.
Yeah, maybe.
Maybe.
A stressful time.
Good villain.
Yeah. No, I did like him.
All right, so we've alluded to it.
But I like Christoph Waltz. I think that's part of it.
Great actor.
Yeah.
Can't find any fault in him. He even seems like a decent enough person.
Yeah.
I'm only going by a Graham Norton show, but anyway. That's my main source of profiling actors. Good, memorable character. An actual puppet master.
Yeah.
Not some small time guy that you find out is actually like a pawn of someone else.
No, he is.
He is the guy pulling all the strings.
And what ties all the older ones together.
And he is the author of all of James Bond's pain. Complete with, is it Austrian accent? German,
whatever he is. I don't know.
He sounds menacing.
He is.
People.
He's got, an evil sort of tone.
Yeah.
But in general, Christoph Waltz just sounds a bit evil, I think, in general.
Yeah.
In anything he does.
I've only seen him as villains, really. Oh, actually, no, Django is not a villain,
Yeah, Django, he's a good guy.
Very likeable personality. Yeah. Fantastic.
Good cast.
So, Spectre, the organisation behind Quantum, the company from Quantum of Solace and Casino Royale, which validates those, I suppose. Even though this is all complete retcon, like this isn't. I don't believe for 1 minute Quantum was originally going to become a branch of Spectre. This is like the writers sitting down with a mandate, and they're like,
"Fuck it, we'll put them together."
Oh, we got to somehow link all these films together. Oh, how can we do it? Oh, we'll make this new organisation playing on the old organisation, like a callback, but we'll make this the thing that was secretly.
Yeah, but it was good though, because if you imagine if this is Daniel Craig's last one, he has a saga. He has a start and an end, I guess.
I mean, I'm so glad that they wrapped it up.
Yeah,
they wrapped up the Quantum, and actually, I mean, as hokey as it is, he is over Vesper now at this point. Yeah, because he's found his
he's
new
got this new squeeze, isn't he?
Even though that's ridiculous.
Yeah,
like,
she loves him.
She loves him after being with him for a couple of days max. Yeah.
I think Spectre takes the crossover a week. I think.
Right.
Because they mentioned that in a week's time they're blowing up MI6, don't they? So
that's good.
She's known him for like.
All right, but maybe it's love at first sight. Who knows?
Wow.
Maybe the minute he saw her like take apart the handgun, he was like, I'm in love.
Yeah. Well, no, she says it to him. He don't really. Does Bond love? Does he?
Does he love? We're getting into some really philosophical territory now. Can an assassin love? All right, I don't like him falling in love with this person. No, she's no Vesper, even though they like build her up to be, because they have the meeting on the train. They're sitting opposite each other. She even says, "Why do you want to be an assassin?" He mentions the priesthood, which I think he did in Casino Royale.
Oh, really?
He uses almost exactly the same line that he did on Vesper. Yeah. So it's like, history repeating.
That big cunt comes in and ruins it all, doesn't he?
Oh, let's get to him.
Batista.
Dave Batista. Out of all of the henchmen in this line of Bond films, the most memorable, surely, the best one.
I mean, what's with his nails? He's got like metal nails or some shit.
He's got like fake nails on him.
Yeah, which is cool.
Can poke
people's eyes out.
Yeah, poke people's eyes out.
But that whole scene is probably one of the best
train,
action
all right,
scenes.
So it's like Daniel Craig and is it Leah Seydoux?
Some shit like that.
They're having a nice romantic meal, and then it just Dave Bautista just walks in and he
out of nowhere.
He literally he flips the table, but with his feet. He just kicks the table into the ceiling, and then a fist fight ensues.
Yeah, and throws James through all the cabins.
From the get-go, he just grabs James Bond and he's just choking him out.
Yeah.
And James Bond punches his face. It doesn't do anything.
Yeah, can't do nothing.
But it's not like Terminator punch where he like punches him and his head twists around and then he slowly brings it back. He punches him and there's no impact. Like he might as well have thrown like I don't know. It's just
he's scary, wasn't he?
He was scary. You never think James Bond's going to die.
No.
I was like, this will be interesting.
Yeah.
This isn't going to be like it is one-sided fight, but you know what I mean. It's not going to play out exactly the way I imagine it.
No.
Best action in the film, I think.
I think so.
That
fist
fight.
Yeah. Because they have a car chase, don't they? And the car chase was fine.
Yeah, that was okay.
Nothing really special though.
Like all the action in this is just so pedestrianly shot. If you can say that, like it's just all so paint by numbers. Apart from this scene where it's arguably a little bit too Bourne for my liking. Like it's very quick cuts and you don't really know, you can't see what's going on because it's blurry and but the action itself is great. Yeah, the fist fighting and the people getting thrown through walls and that's really exciting. I love the bit where James Bond just runs. He just runs back through the carriage and he's like, I need to find something to beat him.
Throws the pan at him.
Yeah, he goes in the kitchen and he throws the pan and then fantastic. I was sad to see him go. Yeah. I didn't think he's beating him. I was like, oh, we're not going to get more of Dave Bautista. Hey guys, I'm just taking a second out from the show to let you know how you can support the podcast and help it grow. You can follow us on Twitter at MRexPodcast, like our Facebook page, subscribe to us on YouTube where we will post exclusive content as well as our regular episodes, subscribe to the podcast on iTunes and Stitcher. You can get our merchandise from our Redbubble store. Just go to redbubble.com and search MRexPodcast. You can become a patron of the show and receive exclusive episodes via our Patreon campaign. To find all of the things that I've just mentioned, just search Moviesaurus Rex Podcast and look for the logo. And with that out of the way, let's get back to the show. Let's talk about how the film looked. So the previous one was Roger Deakins, and this felt like Roger Deakins' imitation.
Yeah, it wasn't as nearly as visually striking as what Skyfall was.
So the DOP is
Hoyt van
Hoytema.
I've seen some shit of his before, I swear, because I remember his name.
All right,
he's shot some nice stuff.
I've got it up here now. Let me run off a list of films that he's done that you've seen.
Go
on. Also very visually striking films.
Hey, can I guess one to see if it's
right? Don't look it up, but you can guess.
Did he shoot that vampire film, that Swedish vampire film?
Don't know what you're talking about. Let the right one in. Yeah, he did. Okay.
Did he also shoot the? Shit, I know it. What's that one with Gary Oldman in?
Tinker Tailor Soldier Spy. Yeah, he did. I was going to say, out of everything, that film was pretty.
Yeah,
not a great film.
No, I thought I was bored to tears. I'm sure
we did see that together, didn't we?
Yeah, I remember my leg was aching like mad, and I was just so tired and bored.
Long, boring film.
Yeah. Looked nice though.
Some people like it, up to them. But it looked pretty, at least. Great cast. Underused. He did Her. You know, the Joaquin... Is it Joaquin Phoenix?
I say Joaquin
Phoenix.
Jacqueef.
He did that anyway. Nice looking film. Interstellar.
Oh, wow.
Wow.
Oh, wow. Interstellar's nice.
Very nice. I would say that's the best on his CV.
Yeah. But, no, yeah, like we're saying, Spectre... It's alright, wasn't it?
It looked alright.
It wasn't as nice as Skyfall was.
I think they just wanted the aesthetic to match Skyfall, but Roger Deakins was busy doing other stuff, so they got this guy on. Yeah. Who, I mean, I'm not saying he's an amateur.
Oh no, definitely not.
But they wanted visual continuity between the films, I think, and it does work to some extent. Yeah. The shots just aren't as memorable. They don't get burnt into your your subconscious like the ones in Skyfall do. Yeah. Yeah, alright. The song.
I liked it more in the context of the film.
Yeah, I mean, I didn't like listening to the song on its own.
No. But in like match to the opening titles, which were a bit weird, but seeing it all together was kind of it made me sort of like the song a bit more.
Sam Smith's "The Writing's on the Wall." I think it went to number 1.
It did.
I think it broke records for a James Bond song. Actually,
the first one, wasn't it?
I mean, he is flavour of the month at the moment.
Yeah.
I really thought they should have just got Adele back.
Nah.
No?
No, fuck Adele.
All right.
Hello.
Hello.
That's a new song.
Is it me? No, that's Lionel Richie. How's it go? Hello.
I just remember she says hello.
It's me.
That's when I switched the radio off.
Anyway, so
hello. Goodbye.
I thought if they didn't get Adele, they should have got Florence Welch.
Ugh. No.
No. Haunting voice.
Terrible voice.
You
Looks like a man. She has man jaw. Really don't like her. I think if they're going to get anyone, they should get.
Oh dear.
There was Ellie Goulding. She was like rumoured.
I hate her voice.
Yeah, I don't like her, but
the thing with Ellie Goulding is like, one, she can't sing, and two, like, I hate the way she pronounces all of her words. Like, oh, like she's got that. Like,
I know, I can't even explain it. No,
I'm gonna have to sing an Ellie Goulding song for you. Like, give me a song that she's done. All right, fire, 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 fire. It's fire. All right, not fire, fire, fire.
She.
It's up. All right. What else has she done? What's that?
Load of drivel.
What's the 50 Shades song that she did?
Don't know. I can remember the Weekend one.
No, forget that one. Fuck me.
We know what you're saying. You don't need to. Please don't sing it.
I need to really stress my opinion on Ellie Goulding on this film podcast. Never give her a Bond song. That's all I'm saying.
Well,
I mean, if you give
give it back to thingy.
If you gave Jack White and Alicia Keys as Bond song, then anything's up for grabs at this point.
Well, that was a dodgy move as well. Wasn't
that was a very dodgy move. All right, who would you like to see do a Bond song?
Don't know, because they've always got to be current artists.
Yeah,
it's really hard to say.
But
that's
what shifts the numbers, isn't it? That's what shifts records. Okay.
I don't know. I wouldn't have an idea.
That aside, maybe not flavour of the month, but just like voice-wise, who do you think would be a good match? One Direction. Rammstein. Are they metal?
Yeah.
They sound metal.
Yeah, like German metal.
You
not heard their song? Du hast.
Isn't that in a Guitar Hero?
Yeah, that's the only reason I know it. I don't really listen to Rammstein, but that's a good song.
Okay.
I ace that when I play Guitar Hero.
What about Dragon Force, if we're going on Guitar Hero?
Dragon Force. Who's Dragon Force?
Dragon Force is like the ones...
the really...
hard through the fire and the flames or something.
Yeah.
I can't do more than 30 seconds of a song because we'll get done for copyright. I'm getting too fixed on the song, but I feel like there's a real bit of gold to be dug here. Ollie Murs. Hurry up and get me before you die. I'm Ollie. I think it's time for an Essex-based Bond. You know,
that would be good.
Once we've got rid of the Oxford-educated James Bond, that is
why should they be all these?
Let's get
gents.
Let's get James Bond talking like this.
Yeah,
I don't know why I'm putting a voice on.
Did you see Danny Dyer did some voiceovers of James Bond?
Did he?
Yeah, he like dubbed over some of the old films. He's all like, "Yeah, you fucking shit, you can't give me a tea," and all that sort of stuff. So I think the world kind of needs a Danny Dyer as a Bond.
I'm telling you now, Danny Dyer's career is never going to kick off past EastEnders.
Hey, EastEnders is like the pinnacle of career, right?
Careers definitely don't die once you go on a soap.
No.
That's all I'm saying. Yeah, Essex Bond, that's what I want.
Yeah. What, you slick?
And rather than London being like the focal point, the main location, we go to Pitsea, we go to Basildon,
Chelmsford. We go
to Brentwood.
Yeah.
We go to the Sugar Hut.
Yeah. The Sugar Hut.
We get the Towie cast in. Maybe Q is what's his face?
Joey Essex. Yeah.
I made you this gadget or something.
Yeah, the joke is he knows nothing.
And he's like, here's a new car. I don't ask me how to turn it on. I don't know. I'm off to the jungle now.
Cool.
He's in I'm a Celebrity, wasn't he?
Oh, right.
James Bond has a little chihuahua in a handbag.
That'd be fucking terrible.
James Bond has a fake tan as well. That's what.
Yeah, that'd be cool. And he wears like skinny jeans.
Yeah. Everything's Ream.
Oof.
Do you remember that Joey Essex song, Ream?
Yeah, yeah.
Ream. You want to be Ream. Ream.
If we have any American listeners, they're gonna be like, "What?"
No, I think only way is Essex is over there now.
Is it?
I think it's a thing.
Jesus.
The way Jersey Shore has come over here.
We are sorry.
We have exported Towie to the masses.
Jesus.
All right, let's get off Towie.
Yeah.
Spectre. Do you have any other thoughts on it?
Yeah, I think I need to see it. I've seen it twice now, actually.
You have actually.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Which the first time I saw it, I was like, it was boring in the middle.
Yeah.
Like it lost me. I actually napped.
It's got
The
real
second
pacing
time I watched it with you.
problems, hasn't it? Yeah.
I napped the second time
You
today.
actually fell asleep.
I did fall asleep. On purpose, I kind of wanted to see if I could do it. That was one thing. But then it was actually pretty easy to fall asleep in those bits because they're kind of boring.
It really sags.
Yeah.
After the first 20 minutes, there's just a void.
Yeah, once it's kind of when he meets the bird, isn't it? The French bird.
Yeah, and that doesn't really go anywhere,
No.
does it?
But no, I did like it. As I said, I like how it links all of them.
Yeah.
All of them sort of together. So
But as a film on its own, like without
I prefer Skyfall.
what it's done for the others, as a film on its own, what do you feel?
Well, I'll give you my ranking.
Yeah, all right. Give me.
So it's Casino
Yeah.
is 1.
Yeah.
Skyfall 2.
Okay.
No. Yeah, Skyfall 2. Spectre 3.
Quantum
4.
If I was to rank them, it's just hard to say because I still don't really know.
Yeah, you're on the same level. With
I'm just
Spectre
so
and
on
Skyfall.
I'm so on the fence with this new one with Spectre.
You're on Skyfall as well, don't you?
Yeah. I mean, it's a tough one. Casino's definitely number 1. That's undisputable. But I just don't know where this film slots into the others for me
Yeah.
because I just don't know how. I left the cinema and you asked me what did I think, and I was just like, I really don't know.
Yeah.
Let's talk about the problems I have with it,
Right, okay.
the things that don't go anywhere. So Monica Bellucci's character,
Oh, yeah, she was a waste.
waste. What's the point?
Throw it in the ocean.
It just makes James Bond look more of a
Yeah,
misogynist.
deviant, yeah.
Yeah. If he's gonna hook up with Leah Siddow or whatever her name is, like later
Sidhu.
on, why do we need him like?
Putting his wick in
Yeah, exactly.
that old dusty minge. She is looking old though, right?
She's not bad looking, but James fucking Bond could have anyone.
Yeah.
And he really sort of like, it's a bit dirty the way he's sort of like, oh, her husband's just died, and
Yeah.
he's like, oh.
He killed him, didn't he? He killed him.
He killed him.
Yeah.
I mean, she didn't like him, but
No, but she still fucking spread wide, didn't she?
well, we don't know.
Well,
we don't know the specifics of
well.
their contact, but yeah, that didn't go anywhere. I didn't like that.
No.
My biggest peeve. I've got 2 big peeves.
I like the word peeve.
It's good, isn't it?
Yeah, it's a good one.
First peeve is obviously the romance that happens towards the end of the film. He falls in love allegedly with this woman.
Well, I think it's more that she falls in love with him.
No, but he technically gives up because the 007 program's finished.
Yeah.
He no longer has a license to kill. You would assume he no longer has a job.
Yeah.
He hangs up his coat at the end of the film, and he just drives off into the sunset with her.
Yeah. Point.
So is he done? Has he given up like he would, like he was going to do for Vesper? Has he given up the spy life to be with this woman?
I can only assume that this new one dies.
Maybe.
They have to. They all die.
That's if he even does another one. We'll get onto that.
Yeah,
That's another topic
yeah.
on itself. All right. Okay. Jesus.
Just re-record this whole episode.
We should scrap it. Like they should scrap their relationship
Yes,
in
good-
Spectre
good.
because it's nonsense.
Yeah,
They've
no,
been
it
together 2 days.
Yeah, he gets tortured for a little bit, gets some drill stuck in him. Oh,
Right, okay.
I love you.
Wait.
Fuck off.
This is my biggest peeve, the drill bit. Okay,
Yeah.
so Bond gets captured by Blofeld. He's in this torture chair, and there's these little drills that get put into his body, into his head, and it's really played up the fact that each part can alter his mind.
Yeah.
Like, if I drill into this bit, your eyesight will go. If I
Yeah.
go into this, your hearing will go. All right, so the first drill goes in.
Yeah.
Nothing happens.
Well, you're not seeing James's eyes though, are you? You
Yeah,
can't
but
see.
you know he ain't going blind.
Well, no, but while the drill's in there mucking about with your brain and stuff, it's jumping up some wires, isn't it?
I suppose.
So when it comes out, I presume.
But
that,
I wanted them to play up on that. Is he
Well-
not going to be able to see for a little bit? Is he got no hearing? He does have hearing because he can hear Blofeld like talking.
Yeah.
Does it affect his movement? Like, is his left arm suddenly dead for a little while? I don't know. Like, I don't know what happened there.
Yeah.
The second one, I think it's the second one. Blofeld goes, and this is really played up. There's a part in your neck where if it gets drilled into, this isn't verbatim, by the way. When the drill goes into it, you will not recognize anyone's faces. And then he goes to Leah Sedal. You will watch him die, and he will not even know who you are.
Yeah.
Drills into the bit that he says.
Jumbles up some wires.
Jumps up some wires. He goes, "Oh, do you recognize her face, Mr. Bond?" I think that's a great impression, by the way.
I don't even know what you're doing anymore.
Do you recognize her face, Mr. Bond? And then his first line is,
Of course I fucking do.
"Because I'm Danny fucking Dye, you can." No, he goes, "How could I forget that face?"
Yeah.
And it's like, what? No. We've just had set up that drill that's going into your neck is going to stop you from recognising people's faces.
It's gonna fuck
that
your shit up.
happened. Now you shouldn't be, scientifically, you shouldn't be able to recognise her face or
Yeah.
anyone's face. Technically, you might not even know who you fucking are.
Yeah.
Instantly brushed away. So I can only think maybe the drill doesn't go in the right spot and it doesn't affect his face
but-
recognition thingy.
Well, that's overthinking it though. I think it's just
No, because I've no. I'm getting
the
really...
drill was off by
I'm
1
getting-
centimetre.
No, but I'm getting angry now. Like, if they've set it up and he's got this really high precision equipment,
Oh yeah, I agree with that. It should fuck his shit up, but
it should fuck his shit up and it should matter. But it's completely blown off the second it happens.
yeah,
Because he's like, who could forget that face? I love that face. That's going to be my future wife face.
yeah,
Nonsense. Absolute nonsense. Don't say what the drill's going to do if you're not going to follow through with it. Just
Yeah.
say, this is going to cause some pain. All we need to see is some drills going in his face and into his head and going, oh, that's going to be dangerous.
Yeah.
You know? That's all we need. We don't need the specifics if we're not going to have that play out in some way.
yeah.
Unless, maybe it's not straight away. Fuck, that's my phone. Maybe it's not straight away. Maybe in the next one, he's going to be... You know that they drive off in the Aston Martin DB5?
Yeah.
It's just on the M25. And then she goes,
Who the fuck are you?
no, she goes, take the next junction, James, the next turn off. And he just turns and goes, who are you? Are you my driving instructor? Where's mum and dad? And then we have the rest of the film with her like trying to make James Bond again, you know?
That's a terrible movie.
Okay, we'll get into our movies, our movie pitches.
Okay.
Right, I didn't go into budget, money specifics
Well, we
for
don't
this.
know, do we?
There's at this moment in time on Box Office Mojo, there is no budget announced, but it has made worldwide $15.5 million. But it's only been out in the UK for a few days. It's not out in
Yeah.
America yet, so it's not really. We're doing this really early for this.
We can't judge
this
it.
discussion, so we can't judge it. Okay, out of 10, Spectre.
7.
I still don't know what I think about it, but at this very moment in time, my opinion might change.
Yeah.
This moment in time, it's like a 6.
That's fair.
I just don't know what to think of it.
I think, yeah, it's one of those ones you need to sort of give it some time, watch it again.
It ticks the James Bond boxes of like, all right, we've got the opening with him in the what do you call it, in the
targets,
yeah,
isn't it?
the targets, and he shoots the screen and the blood comes down. That's their tick. That's the first time in this series it's really been done properly. Tick. He has an Aston Martin. Tick. He shags some birds. Tick. People die. Tick. There's punching. Tick. Explosions go off. Tick. There's Q. Tick. All these ticks, but it still doesn't feel like a Bond film to me.
Yeah.
They're literally just, they've got a list and they're crossing things off, but it's got no soul to me. Even though it's got all these big questions and we're delving into Bond's past and it's like, history catching up, and it's trying to go really deep with his character and everything that's come before. It's gone so deep and so pompous that it just doesn't feel like a James Bond film anymore. You know? I don't know what to think. but it ain't good at the moment. At the moment, it's got a Metacritic score of 69 out of 100, so I'm not alone.
No.
That's 70. That's just sort of 7 out of 10, basically.
Yeah.
Almost. Which is mediocre, isn't it? I mean, actually, it might be a good score, but in my mind, a Bond film should always be at least an 8.
Yeah.
8 or 9.
I think...
Or a 10.
I don't know whether or not it's just... A lot of people did like Skyfall. In comparison to that, maybe. I don't know.
Yeah.
I don't know. Let's move on.
Let's move on. All right. We're going to try and do this quick.
Yeah.
Next James Bond film, what do you think? Well, how do you want to do it? Do you want to pitch our dream James Bond film, or do we want to speculate as to what we think might happen next?
I think just speculate.
Speculate.
I think now Blofeld is established in this world.
And he's still alive.
He's obviously going to be playing a part in it. They're not just going to hint at that just for one film and then sack him off for some other wanker.
He only really becomes the Blofeld that we know towards the end.
Yeah. With the eye
and he is really played up. The fact that he's been given mercy by James Bond.
Yeah. So he has to come back. And the thing that worries me is whether or not Daniel Craig will do another one. Mm-hmm. And whether or not they will just kind of hit the reboot button again. And
I really hope not.
I don't think so.
I mean, for context, he has been saying a lot in the press. He feels like he's done.
Yeah, he said he'd rather kill himself or something, didn't he?
He at this moment in time, he just can't imagine doing another one. But I think I remember when he'd finished Skyfall, and people asked him the same thing, and he said, "At this moment, I've just finished Skyfall. I can't imagine myself getting back in the shoes."
Yeah,
he did, but
he's old now, though, isn't he? He's getting old.
He's old, but like
injured.
The other factor is this film was in production just under a year ago. It's a really quick turnaround for this film.
Mm.
They probably did reshoots and pickups and stuff. It's not that long. It's still very fresh, you know. Yeah. It was literally finished and then put on the shelves, you know. So for him to sort of even contemplate doing all this all over again for another year, it's probably very daunting.
Yeah.
But for the sake of the fans, I think he should do another one.
I think so. If they're gonna, well,
I want to see the film where he dies.
What, Bond dies?
Yeah. Because if they've done a reboot and they put a reset on it, we know that James Bond isn't a code name, like some fan theories speculate. Maybe it was with the old films before Casino Royale. Maybe James Bond was just a name given to these spies. So they all are technically James Bond, but it's all continuity. It's all part of the same. His name is James Bond. His parents' last names are Bond.
Yeah.
So that's out the window. The only thing is 007. So do we kill James Bond? And then...
That's bold. They'd never do that.
And then it's just 007? It's not James Bond anymore?
Yeah.
I can't see that happening.
You can't have 007 without James Bond, though.
Yeah. This is the thing.
To be honest, I have no idea where they'll go with it. I like to think Daniel Craig will do another one. And maybe wrap it up somehow, but...
He's contractually obliged to do another one, but... doesn't necessarily mean he's going to do one, because, all right, he's contractually obliged. He gets on set and he just stands still. Like, what can they do?
Yeah.
You know?
But in terms of what the film would be about, fuck knows.
I mean, they've put Quantum to bed, but Blofeld's still alive. So maybe it's... I would love them to just do now a Bond film that doesn't have any impact on any of the others. Like, it's just a mission.
Oh, just like a singular one, yeah.
Yeah, just a singular one.
Bring Pierce back then.
Find a reason for him to come back. Maybe weave in Blofeld. Or maybe don't. Maybe Blofeld could be like the Hannibal Lecter in a locker room somewhere, and he's like, "What do you know about this guy?" And he's talking to Blofeld, using him for information.
Yeah.
Maybe I think Blofeld will be on death row. Surely, if they link all of these things to him, all these international terrorist attacks and stuff, and all the other shady shit that's been going on, isn't it international? It's an international thing. It's not he's in England's hands, and we don't have the death penalty. He's got to answer to whoever country has beef with him.
Yeah.
So what if like something happens in America? And they're like, right, we're going to extradite him to America.
Yeah.
And he's going to be on trial by our courts.
Yeah.
And we have the death penalty. Maybe he's on death row. Hannibal Lecter sort of situation where he's in a glass cabinet or whatever.
I do see that sort of happening.
And Bond's like, you know.
Yeah, that makes sense. And he's using him for
Yeah.
for knowledge.
Yeah. He's like,
Using his worst enemy as
exactly.
his friend.
He's like, help me out, and I'll make your last few months a bit more enjoyable in this place or whatever. You know.
Yeah.
Maybe that's how you weave him in. I would, but saying that, I would just like one where he just goes on a mission. It doesn't have any connection to his past, his present, or whatever. It's just, this is the mission. These are the bad guys. Go to these countries, do these things.
Yeah.
Lots of action. I don't want any more pondering.
Who is his parents?
Exactly.
Yeah.
That's done.
Just don't say that his parents are still alive and he has to go find them.
Oh God, that would
Can you
be
imagine
so ridiculous.
Yeah.
Oh fuck's sake! And I don't want him to have a kid either.
No.
I don't want Leah Siddow to turn around and go, James, I have wonderful news. Jimmy Bond Jr. is brewing inside of me. And then he's like, you do realise my testicles were smashed a few years ago. I can't have children. Who are you shagging? And then Blofeld's like, I am the author of your child. I did have like a very far-fetched idea for a James Bond Daniel Craig film years ago in my head, and it involved it was going back to like proper crazy James Bond. There was like I didn't have the story. It was just an idea of him in a jungle.
Yeah.
And him sort of like going Far Cry on everyone, like low tech and just like
Rambo.
Rambo getting through the jungle to get to the hidden base in the heart of the jungle. And like I was like, how does he get in the jungle? Well, maybe some evil terrorist group has developed these rockets that can house a person in them as a pilot, and they're like for kamikaze sort of thing, like, you know, like people go on a death mission. How
much coffee did you drink when you think of this?
I've never taken a drug in my life, people. Just putting that out there. He like grabs hold of one of these rockets, and they're like meant for like terrorists to sort of like kill themselves but take out loads of people, rather than like having to drive a truck with TNT in it or whatever. These rockets have got like a nuke in them, and they've not got like, any like guidance system. It's just a person in the rocket, and anyway, he's in a rocket. He gets blasted off, and he pilots it into the jungle, and then he crashes it into the jungle.
Well, surely if it's a nuke though, and he crashes it into the jungle, it nukes the fucking jungle.
Not necessarily a nuke. Maybe just like a very high-powered explosive. I'm not worried about the minutiae of this plot, Tom.
No, I know you haven't.
I just know I want to see James Bond with mud on his face, hidden in a tree, and then a guard walks past him, and then he opens his eyes, and you just see his blue piercing eyes as part of the tree, and then he comes out, and he's like, oh, camouflage, bitch, and he like snaps some guy's neck. That's all I want. And he makes a bow and arrow.
Sounds better suited for a Jason Bourne. I'm sorry.
Just shit on my dreams. Shit all over. What do you want?
I don't want.
You don't want any more?
No.
You done with James Bond?
Well, no, I want James Bond, but I don't know. It's hard to even predict what they'd even do, you know?
We're going to put aside the recasting situation because I don't think it's worth worrying about that. I'm pretty sure, despite what he says, I'm certain we're going to get another Daniel Craig film.
Yeah, I think one more.
So it's not even worth thinking about who's...
No.
Because who people are speculating about now, they won't be relevant in a few years' time. Yeah. There'll be some new up-and-coming person.
Yeah.
I think if you're looking at today's group of actors, there's a good chance Tom Hardy would get it.
Well, there's Tom Hardy. I think Fassbender's a good option.
He's a bit stick insecty for me, though.
I know, he's a bit skinny, but...
He'd need to bulk up, I think.
Yeah.
But he is becoming action star because he's in the new Assassin's Creed film, so, you know...
Yeah, I think he's got the suave factor anyway.
Give it a few years. I think...
Tom Hardy's a bit more rough, isn't he?
Yeah.
But,
which would fit this Bond.
Yeah.
I think Chris Pine... No, not Chris Pine. Chris Hemsworth. If he put on... I think he's done... Thor's got an English accent, hasn't he?
Yeah.
But if he put on a slightly more sort of Oxford accent...
Yeah.
He's ticking all the boxes.
But he's too fucking muscly.
Maybe they'd have to, like, shrink him. He's really tall as well, isn't he?
Yeah, I think he's over 6 foot or something stupid.
So he'd just tower over everyone.
Pretty much. That'd be a scary Bond, wouldn't he? You wouldn't want to fight him.
No. He'd give Dave Bautista a run for his money. All right. Do you have any thoughts on James Bond in general?
No.
Because we're going to wrap this up now, I think.
I like him. I like him a lot.
All right. And on that note, Tom likes James Bond a lot. Until next time, guys. Thanks for listening.
Thanks.
And goodbye.
Goodbye.